Welcome back, everybody, to episode 254. Yep. Thank you for joining us for this Wednesday edition. Today, we have another special guest. Stay tuned. We will be back after our short intro from our sponsors.
TC Backer. Roofing, siding, windows, gutters, solar. Roofing, siding, windows, gutters, solar. TC Backer.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hi, Ty.
Hi, Chris. Today we have Chris Markey, who comes on about every quarter. Chris was one of our very, very first guests and early adopters who had tuned in there for religiously for years. And then, of course, life, takes its ups and downs. And then, of course, we changed. I think the time probably threw you off because we used to do 7 p.m. about a year ago or so. We switched it to 12 p.m. So it's kind of
during the day. I try to catch it in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And then stuff happens at the shop or
whatever. No, which is cool though, because we were just talking about, subscribers and viewers and stuff like that. I think first and foremost, it gave Vic and I our Wednesday evenings back. Right. So like it held us hostage literally for 4 years, behind the tool about 7 p.m. no matter where I was in the world. Right. 7 p.m. could be Eastern Standard Time, could be Mountain Standard Time, could be wherever we were. Right. So 7 p.m. could be 10 o'clock someplace, could be 5 o'clock, someplace, wherever we were. Uganda. That one time.
You went to Uganda?
There, I think it was like 1 o'clock in the morning here and whatever the time difference was there. So it's allowed us a little more flexibility. But it also gained some more different viewership as well. Because some people are like 7 p.m. at night, like they're bathing their children, wrapping up dinner, things like that. So we've held on to our viewership and then gained different people because of it being, broadcasted during the middle of the day. But getting back to you being one of our biggest fans and supporters, through holidays, I think you came out one year dressed up like Santa Claus or brought me a Santa Claus a couple years ago.
Brought you something.
Suit.
Yeah.
And you had your birthday suit on and a 12 pack of.
It was a short story.
Yeah.
The birthday suit. It just.
Yeah. But, but we've had our ups and downs and ebbs and flows of trying to figure this thing out. And we were talking about
Ty, how long you been in business?
16 plus years now.
Yeah. So we're working, we were 2006.
Okay.
So, we're working on, I guess it'll be 18. We're in year 18.
Okay.
Right. And, it's just, I come back here and talk with you because, the parallel, my circle has become a parallel of people that are in businesses that are very not similar businesses, but similar time frames, going through the same stuff. I think you and I have always had this conversation.
Connection.
Yeah.
I remember your building down there. What street was that? Monroe Street? Well,
we were on, man, I can't even think of the name now.
Right off West Market.
Yeah, that's we were there, but before that, we were on Sumner Street.
Sumner Street.
That was the little one over there by.
That was what I was talking about. Sumner.
Yeah, that was our first one, and then we moved over to the building
on Indian Rock.
On Indian Rock. Yeah, and then, but it's just, it's funny how those of us who grind very similarly, tend to stay in touch. Though sometimes you miss staying in touch. Yeah. I think our record got broke. Yeah, it was every morning. Hey man, good morning, whatever.
Yeah.
And it got broke, but you always know you can come back. So you know, when you gave me a shout, say come back on, I like coming on here. Yeah. Somehow, some way, we end up talking about a concept, an idea, something that we don't plan for, and next thing you know, we're talking about it. So
no, our conversations are always good. You know, I think like you just mentioned, you know, people who have the same mindset at a high performing level, like tend to gravitate towards each other. And our relationship is very, and I don't mean this might sound negative, but I don't take it as negative. It's very reciprocal.
Mm-hmm.
We feed off of each other.
Yeah. Very much so.
Yeah. If you're down, you lift me up, vice versa. I think we inspire each other. I know you've inspired me several times. There was a book that you turned me on to. I must have been just bitching one day. And you said, I can't remember what book it was. I think it was John Gordon book, the Stop Complaining Rule or something.
Yeah, but there was a bunch of them we've always talked about, a bunch of books. It always used to be. That's how our conversation started.
Gently, you were like, hey, you know what you should do? You should probably read the Stop Complaining Rule or some whatever book that was.
You know what? You know why I said that? Because somebody said it to me. Because I was complaining.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and it happens now.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, you know, you pass it along. I think a lot of our conversations start. I think our first biggest conversation was at my dock over off of Indian Rock. Mm-hmm. And we started talking. And I think that was when the light clicked. It was like, whoa, man, we both have. And then we started from then on, every time you would stop over to pick stuff up and we would talk for an hour.
Yeah.
Like you're like, I got to go. And then we would be there for an hour.
No, I enjoyed that. I really did. I looked forward to our conversations. I always have enjoyed our conversations because you were always so insightful about stuff. And I tell everybody, like Chris Markey's one of my mentors. You know, I have a lot of
vice versa, to be honest.
Yeah. I have a lot of mentors, but from a distance, you know, but like you are a real, true and blue, you know, not that far away, local mentor that I know at any given time, no matter what time of day, even if you don't answer, if it's 2:00 in the morning, you would get back to me as soon as you saw my missed call. But the chances of you answering it is likely.
You know what? Let's talk about this parallel.
Okay.
So it just popped in my head. So I was over here when you were renovating this building. Mm-hmm. You were a mess for how many months?
Yeah.
I had moved into my building. Mm-hmm. I was a mess. Mm-hmm. I was talking to you. Now we're both in our building and we're like, okay, what's the next corner I got to clean out? You know what I mean? I feel not clean out, but I'm in that phase right now. We're in that phase at our office where, just like you, I'm more than blessed to have those that work at our facility. Mm-hmm. Just great people. Yeah. I mean, they put up with me. That's just say enough. You know what I mean? And they're really good. They care. But the next phase, what are we looking at? What do we want to do? They're asking for it. Like, hey, let's clean this up. Let's be better at this. How do we get better? How can we do more? Mm-hmm. You know, so here I am trying to go down this road. Probably like you, where you're like, hey, what you start to think like, when is an exit strategy? What is my exit strategy? What does that look like? You start looking at stuff and then you find out like, oh man, there's a lot of other things I could probably get into that I don't need to run the day-to-day of this, but I could pull up a couple little things that'll help us. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think in a lot of ways, like we parallel the buildings that, you know what I mean? Yeah. You're into that.
We've modeled a lot of our business style. Yeah. Off of each other and the influences that we both have had, I think, and we bounce those ideas and things that we've tried that didn't work or our successes with each other and it modeled, I really believe, you know, because the same fears that you were facing, like, man, do I get this building? Don't I get this building? Are we going to be able to fill this building? And today it's
how do I pay for it?
Looking at, right. You're probably looking at like, man, I need more space, right? As ridiculous as that sounds. And same with us. No sooner we moved over here, I'm like, dude, we don't have enough room. Right. There's not enough office spaces. Now, fortunately, we still have the 2 other warehouses over there. But you know, that's through it, that. And I like what you were saying, like trying to find like your new role, right? Like it's not about necessarily the exit strategy because there's still more of you to pour into your team. Now you're going to start working on the company, right? Instead of in the day-to-day every day. So you
was just listening to that. I was just listening to that.
Right.
Like it's amazing how much that is.
And it's cool to watch people grow. Like I've had projects, people have become my projects. And, you know, I don't want to get into the weeds too far on this, but right now, so like Tam and Amanda, Tam recently has become my executive assistant. I finally have an executive assistant, but it's not that she wasn't.
It's not Vic.
No,
he gave it up.
No, Vic is still definitely one of my projects. to watch him grow. I mean, and I didn't want to say that in front of him, but
about that,
you know, and it's cool because I don't have to take the credit for that, which is totally fine. But I've moved on, and there's a handful of a couple other people that, you know, I could have gotten out of this. We had a conversation earlier. I could have sold this. I could have been out. But what I've come to realize is that I'm not done pouring into my team. There's still so much work that doesn't need done, but can be done, right? We can still leave the dust bunnies, you know, here and there, but I choose not to ignore the dust bunnies in the corners, right? The little things, the people. So like I was saying, Tam, not that she wasn't, but by me just telling her you are now, that I empowered her, right? Gave her that authority feeling of like, shit, I'm Ty's executive, even just with the title executive assistant. Well, we're coming to realize that she needs an assistant now, right? Or I need two, a personal and executive assistant. Okay. So I've been throwing tasks at both of them. Okay. And one of them has an issue with being decisive and second guessing themselves. I was like, oh, yes. There's something there that I can work on with them. So I threw something out there to them, and I hear it. What about this? What about every day? They're asking me the same question that we've already resolved it. I've already answered this question for you. Okay. So I've identified there's indecisive and second guessing. Right. So I said simply to them, we need to work on you second guess. You stop second guessing yourself. You're an amazing person. Go with it. Run with it. Yep. Okay. I need to be okay with them making mistakes. Have to. I'm over it. Like I used to be upset and get frustrated when people make a mistake. Okay?
I'm right there right now.
You know, So by leading by example as a father, okay, in front of my son.
Right.
Okay. It's a great place to practice this.
Yeah.
Okay. Shit happens. How do I handle it? Do I freak out? Yeah. Been there, done that. Do I still have bad days? Of course I do. Few and further in between. The last time I probably had a meltdown was when we were in this building and it wasn't done. Okay.
Yep. I remember.
And there was a lot. I think I actually had 2 meltdowns on you. One in the building here in that front conference room, and one I was sitting in Bricker's parking lot.
Yep.
And like really lost my shit and said some really bad shit to you. And I, again, apologize for that. Listen, I don't forget.
Listen, here, when you talk about stuff like this is resonating right now, Ty, because though those in our office may not feel that way or 100% of the time, one of my goals is we've moved people around to get better at what we do.
Yeah. But how have you...
But I want to be.
How have you identified that? For me, it's by me seeing myself and other people and their behaviors.
Well, you know, listen, we've always
shit.
Right. But we've always been able to, okay, we are doers.
Yeah.
So we've always been able to take a situation.
Yeah.
Plow through it.
Yeah.
And usually you come out being pretty okay.
Always.
Right.
May not be the way I thought it was going to turn out.
They may not like you. Yeah. You might go somewhere, but listen, this is Central PA. We're Pennsylvania Dutch. Nobody likes anybody. Right. So it's just, I'm just saying that there's a lot going on right now with some things that we're doing in our office to change up. Mm-hmm. We've always been an innovator like you are. Now you're being an innovator to say, I'm going to help these people help me. Mm-hmm. Right. I'm getting to that point where the same thing, but I'm not there yet. Cause I got to train myself a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I've
learned more from teaching.
Right.
Because I got to educate myself. I got to study. I got to be aware of my actions and behaviors and thoughts and things that I say. So I've learned more by holding myself accountable.
Yeah. One of the big things is my wife for years would say stuff to me, you know, but I ain't listening to you.
Yeah.
And you know.
In one ear, not the other.
Yeah. Right. And now I'll be riding in the car with her. I'll be like, you remember when you used to say to me? Mm-hmm. And you're like, and she'll be looking at you. Mm-hmm. You know, and give you that look over, and you're like, I don't need you to say anything. I just need you to listen to me to explain. Like now, I know what you were saying. Yeah, and that's what like you. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to train myself to be better. Not only because in our purpose or in our mission, in our company, one of those things is to be the generosity. You know what I mean? To provide jobs, to be better people, to be better leaders. That's part of our mission statement.
Oh yeah.
Right. And if I'm upset, what does that do? That doesn't accomplish any of those things. It's in that purpose.
No.
Right. So, yeah, do I get upset? Yeah. My other son came on board, Garrison. Listen, we're all going to be a little bit more challenging. It's very challenging for me.
Mhm.
He comes from a different world, but that is my challenge. Every time I come in here, Ty, we always start talking about something that we're on the same page.
Yeah.
But like you're down that road a little bit further. For me, I've had to take a step back and go, okay, we're changing our company a little bit. What does that look like? I've started with you probably know the EOS system. I've gone back and, I went back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Like we already had a why, we already have mission, I went back and I'm rewriting that
Mhm.
because that's going to define to me how I can be a better person, not only for my son and Kelsey, his girlfriend, and Garrison, who works for me, and those that work in the business.
Yeah.
I want to be a better person for them because I really feel like we have more that we can do.
Oh,
there's so much more that we can do now that I started this little transition where you want to start helping other people
on this journey.
Journey.
On
Great
Yeah.
word. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that matters to me.
Mhm.
Whereas, you start thinking like, oh, I just want to get out and I can sell it. Now I'm thinking like, well, what would I do if I got out?
Yeah.
I'll be bored. I'll be
Right.
over sitting with Ty and Vic all the time. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I want to be on camera all the time, but I just think that what you just said about that resonated with me
Mhm.
because it is true. We're finding that in our, I'm finding that in me,
Mhm.
which I could have cared less about in the past.
This does, what this has done for me. So with that, because it starts with self.
Mhm.
Okay. If you want a good quality business, relationship, family, whatever, it starts with me, right? What am I doing, right? To educate myself? Am I taking care of myself? Am I dieting right? Am I educating myself? So if I want to become, or we're moving in this direction on this journey to be an 8-figure CEO, 7-figure CEO, a 6-figure, whatever that is, what have I done to prepare myself to be, right? If we're at 7 figures and we want to become 8 figures, have I armed myself with the right tools, right? Have I read the right books? Have I surrounded myself around people who have already made it to 8 figures, right? Because I don't know what I don't know, right? So if I'm not reaching out and asking the right people the right questions, even if I don't know what those questions are yet, because that's half my problem. I don't even know what the right questions are to ask. I just know I need to reach out to someone who's been there, right? Or pick up a book, listen to podcasts, whatever the case might be. What do you read? Some of the first questions that I ask somebody is, what are you reading? When's the last time you asked somebody? Kevin Kelly, as soon as I saw him, guy from Certainty that I golfed with. So what are you reading nowadays? He's going down a list of stuff. Some I read, some I haven't read, some I haven't heard of. I was like, no shit.
My son Garrison said to me the other day, he goes, I go back and read books that I've read over and over.
You totally have to. You have to study them. They're basic text. For me,
I never ever. So like now I'm going like Traction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going back
That's
to
definitely,
you know what I mean? Like I'm going back through the stuff that you and I years ago had read.
Another good one you should read. It's called Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. Buy Back Your Time.
Oh,
everything you're talking about. And also Gino Wickman's great, but also Patrick Lencioni.
Lencioni's just
that's
the 5 things of a dysfunction.
Five dysfunctions of a great team or some shit.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of them. Our meeting structures now are based upon his theories.
Yeah.
And he's also got a really good podcast. He actually has 2 of them.
Yeah. Those are what I'm starting to delve into, because a lot of times, like when I've been in this EOS, and that from Traction.
Oh yeah.
They refer to others in there. So Gino refers to others in his book and in his teachings. But Lencioni is one of them they go back to. And what I like about it is you can take a little of that and make it your own. Right.
Totally. I always look at things differently anyhow, and it opens up this other door for me. When I read something, not that I don't follow it but I always throw my own spin on it. Like it opens up another door of thinking a little more deeper into it. Maybe that's what they meant. Maybe that's not what they meant, but it's opened my eyes to something nice, awesome that we've built out. Because if you look at like, okay, so I had a meeting with Ryan Holmes yesterday, right? And we've done work either directly or indirectly for Ryan Holmes, whether I worked for my brother-in-law, I was on their job sites. And then when I went out on my own, we started to do their work a couple of years after that. So if you look at how they have their structure, okay, I'd like to think that I was a genius and I came up with all these things on my own. I do sprinkle my, and that door does open, and we do put our own spin on things. But Ryan Holmes, kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, asking the right questions. How have they done it? Why are they the most profitable builder in the country? How have they become that? I don't know until I start asking questions, right? And how do they negotiate so well? Like all these things from land acquisition to purchase orders to their ranks of, general managers, job site supervisors, costing managers, procurement, all these things. If you look at our organizational chart, which right now it's out of control and needs bad attention. But if you look at the chain of command, that's probably a better analogy. If you look at our chain of command and how things are structured here, it's almost identical. We had a meeting with them yesterday, and the amount of people that they had standing there, I had the same amount of people standing next to me with all the same roles, but just one's a home builder, another one's a roofing company. So we've modeled our business, their style. We've modeled their style of business on how they conduct business at a high level with communication, right? And that's why they have the amount of people that they have, because how the communication is relayed down. And these people, what they do, their jobs actually overlap. Does that make sense? That what they do, so there has to be communication there. And then the next person, there's overlap in what they do. There's communication there because they're with each other every day. Somehow, some way they're communicating on some level. So like Chris Baker, Tyler, Brandon. Chris Baker bids it. Tyler schedules it. Brandon schedules it. Chuck schedules it.
So it's like three circles, and in the middle, they kind of all have to talk to each other. That's the communication leg of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then there's Glenn above them.
It's amazing when you ask questions and you say to yourself, why didn't I think of that?
And really listen to what they're saying and stop acting like you know everything.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that took me a long time. Took me a long time to actually listen to what somebody was saying. Then ask them to repeat themselves. Do you mind repeating yourself again? I don't think I quite caught that.
It was funny because I used to have a manager in sales when I was in sales, and his main thing was for all of his sales reps, the third question is going to get you more information than you can possibly fathom. So every time you start talking to somebody, and you've been around me, I'll start asking like you, hey, what books you read? Oh, why are you reading that? Oh, what did that bring up?
Right.
You know what I mean? So once you get past 3, then all of a sudden you're going to start garnering all this information.
Yeah.
So, like when you went to Ryan's and you were very parallel, the questions became easier because you're very parallel.
Yeah.
Right. Then you start asking questions and the information is going to come out pretty quickly.
Well, and the information that we're seeking, sometimes we don't know we're seeking it, but it's very relevant to where we're at. Like the questions that we were asking, so they were talking about slow, like things are going to stay flat next year because of not being able to acquire land. But what I did hear is that they're going to actually open up 8 new communities. So the Baltimore region, there's many divisions within the Baltimore region. There's South, there's North, there's Howard, and there's West. West is one of our bigger ones. And I did hear him say that there's 8 new communities popping off. And I was like, so let me ask you this question. I hear you're saying that you're going to be flat overall for the Baltimore region, but what does that mean from where we're standing right now, where we predominantly do work for you guys? And he was like, oh, well, yeah, we do have 8 new communities. So you guys are sitting in a good place, because I needed my team to hear that. I've heard them, and I had a meeting a month ago with them, and I knew 8 were popping off. So we need to prepare ourselves. Again, asking the right questions months ago. And we started working on 2025 3-4 months ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm calling all the home builders. What are you thinking? And the census is basically stating like he who can build the most homes first wins, because there's just not enough housing. So we're in a good position. So anyhow, I wanted him to reiterate what he said, but in a different way of like, oh yeah, so Maryland, the North and South are going to slow down, but Baltimore West, you guys are in a really good position. So to get their minds like, okay, what do we need?
But
because
it was the third
one
question.
of the things
it was
I've
a couple
casted
questions.
out.
It was
Yeah.
a couple questions
Right.
into it
Yes.
to be able to get to
Yes.
what you wanted them to hear.
Yes.
Right.
Totally. And there was a couple other questions that I had asked to lead to that, because of course, anytime I'm with those guys, any chance I get to be with a national builder who are the most wealthiest people in the world with the biggest shareholders in the world, right? Those are the people that you need to be asking questions, and don't be intimidated.
Right.
Because like you said, by the time you ask that third question, they've already warmed up and are willing to become a fountain of information for you. They enjoy sharing that information with you, right? And that's when you just need to turn on your
Charm.
your ears and listen and take in
and your
absorb
charm.
everything
And
you
your
possibly. Yeah, you know what I
Because they
mean?
might
So-
say, "Hey, do you want to take over these other two areas?" Yeah,
Right,
Yeah,
of course.
We do. Yes,
Yeah.
we do. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
did let them know, like because they asked, they were like, do we have the right contact? That's how this first example came up is that they, I guess they met with somebody else, a different like HVAC company or something, and they were having hiccups. So this wasn't a bad meeting for us. This was a meeting for them to tell us how great we're doing. And that's when I massaged the conversation a little more to be like, hey, listen, we don't have that contact. Like, you guys know who to contact here, and we know who to contact on your side. And the reason why that is because we model you. For the past 20 years, I've done business with you, right? Because we're partners, right? With Ryan Holmes. We've modeled our business style off of how Ryan Holmes is designed. Their ecosystem is the same as our ecosystem.
Right.
When they have purchase orders, we create purchase orders. We receive purchase. How they negotiate with us is how I negotiate with other people.
Right.
I've learned from the best of the best.
Right.
The most, they're not the largest builder. Their stocks are at like $4,500 a piece for one share.
Yeah.
Lennar is probably 12.
Yeah.
They are the most profitable builder in the country. The number 3, 5, somewhere 3, 4, 5th builder in the country, but the most profitable.
Yeah. It's somebody you want to partner with.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally want to partner and model what they do. They've been so successful for over, I think, 50 years. I think it's close to 75 years. They've been in business. They've gone through all of it and are still here to stand and have an impact and have impacted us.
So that was somebody close to you that did that. Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's easy to do because you work with them on a regular basis. Like on our side, we just have to ask a lot of questions because there's a lot of different people that we work with. And to be honest with you, there's not a lot of people there's people that do what we do, but don't want to take that. I don't think want to take that to that level.
Yeah.
I've found out being around this and knowing people in the industry that are competitors or friends or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
They don't want to take it to that level. So it's new. And some of the only lookouts are look at big corporate. And I'm not a big corporate fan because I don't think you get the flatter, you know what I mean? Where we can answer stuff quickly. We can become. You
can pivot too quicker. The ship's
right.
not so big that it takes about 20 turns of the wheel to get the thing to just move.
Yeah, but what you said there was the main thing that you said there is we're emulating a large company. Okay. And we can emulate. And what I'm trying to get across in our building is we're going to emulate a large company, but we're still going to be family.
Yeah.
Right. We can do this.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing that says that you can't do it. You know what I mean? I don't want to continue
the one
to
thing
add
that's going
layers.
to alleviate that, because what we're talking about is, and when people talk about corporations, you think about stupid rules. Now we got stupid rules you got to put in place. And I heard this a long time ago.
Hey, I'm going to stop you right there.
The second you have to start putting stupid rules in place, you have stupid people that work for you.
I'm going to stop you. Let me stop you right there, Ty, real quick. So the definition of a stupid rule probably has to come from.
Like, and I'm talking about putting a sign on the refrigerator that says, don't eat my food, or don't leave your food in the refrigerator for a week. That's what I mean.
You're feeling me.
There has to be policies.
Yeah.
There has to be accountability.
Procedures.
Accountability. Yes, there has to be. And that's the thing. What's made Ryan Holmes is their process. Their processes and following the process, right? That's easily duplicatable across all 52 states.
Yeah.
How did you do that? Not because they use Post-it notes and smoke signals,
Yeah.
right? Like there is a process. There are forms that need to be filled out. There is a procedure that you must follow. Steps 1, 2, and 3. You know, A, B, C, D. You have to follow these processes. And if you surround yourself and if you're attracting those that want to perform at a high level, which, you know, whether it's friends or those that we work with, right? Now we're creating these policies together, right? Now we're entrusting our teams, empowering them to sit down. I'm not coming out of my office and saying, look, new policy, right?
Put it on the refrigerator.
Right. But that's what I meant by like stupid rules. If we got flush the toilet when you're done,
Yeah.
you know, if we're burning calories thinking of those types of things, then we shouldn't probably be in the seat that we're sitting in right now. If we have that type of person that doesn't know how to flush the toilet or wash their hands when they leave baths, I'm just saying, if you got to put employees must wash their hands at the sink, like when you go to a restaurant and then you go in there and there's no soap, we're in trouble. Okay.
Only you, Ty.
We're in
Only you, Ty. We're in trouble.
Yeah.
We're in trouble.
We're in freaking trouble.
But that you know, the process is the toughest part. That's the big thing. You want to document. I remember, man, it might have been either right when you were moving in here. You had John and everybody over in the room, and I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" I'd stop in and see you. Hey, what's going on? And you'd be like, "Well, we're here. We're in here for 4 days. We're writing processes or procedures.
Yeah.
We're writing our." And I was listening to a guy the other day, and it was really good. He was a CEO of a company that when they bought a company, he would go in and be the CEO of that company to look at it and everything. And he said the first thing we always did is we'd go in and put all their processes on the wall. He said it would be like wrapped around the room. And our goal was to get it down to one single wall, right? And make it easy. Yeah. That's the type of stuff. When you talk about, hey, I don't want to put a thing on the board, but we want to make it easy. Like you two companies now have it down to where your processes are. That's the process I'm in right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you get grumblings.
Oh my gosh.
You get grumblings.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I just walked out of the office today and, you know, why can't we do this? And this group wants this and that group wants that. And that, and at some point, it's like anything. You just got to make a rule or a process and say, this is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, we just have to live with it. And most of the time they do.
Yeah. They get through it.
They get through it, but they don't want their world changed.
No.
You know what I mean? Don't change their get up time and go to bed time.
Because it's a grieving. No one wants to let go. And they would rather much stay in a situation that's not conducive, work related, health related, because of the comfortability of not changing.
They know what they're going to get.
Yep. They know what they're going to get.
Yep.
Even though it is better for them, they can't see it, but you got to allow them to go through its loss.
Right.
They're experiencing loss and they need to go through that grieving process. And this is the other thing too, that I thought of when you were talking, and is like, how many times have we made long-term decisions based upon short-term emotions, not just our own, but other people around us? Like
sometimes wrong decisions.
Yep.
You think they're right.
I know. And that's the thing that you have to grind through. It's like, if you know it's for the greater of the whole, right? Whatever it is, right? We're closed on Fridays or whatever the case might be, right? That may be conducive just for the company. If you still want to work here, I need to close on Fridays or whatever. I just brought that up because I know you guys sometimes are closed on Fridays, but
we offer flexible schedules.
Yes,
now.
exactly.
So it's not like we're always closed on Fridays.
So there's things you have to put in place for the greater of the whole that not everyone's going to like, but what they are going to like is that ACH is still there every Friday without a hiccup, right? So there's got to be certain things that are put in place that people won't understand. And a lot of times we feel like we have to explain the whole thing to them, right? The dark and the dirty reasons why. It's just, sometimes it's just like, look, we have to do this. Trust me.
Yeah.
I need you to trust me. We need to do this.
So do you know, one of the things that you want to say, I don't say, but you trust me enough that every 2 weeks your paycheck is going to be in your bank account, but you don't trust me enough that if I come to you and ask you to do something, you don't trust, you get mad at me because of some reason, but yet you trust me with your livelihood. Like you trust the fact that you trust me to think that you're going to have that paycheck on that Thursday.
Yeah.
Right. But I come over to you and say, hey, we're going to do 20 instead of 24. And you want to blow a gasket. Yeah. Like, seriously? Like, I don't put my head on the pillow at night thinking of a process or procedure that's going to make your life hell. That's not my goal in life. Like I have to go back and find my time for myself. So myself is not doing that. I'm not going to beat you up. Like, I don't go home and go, honey, you know, Ty really pissed me off. So let me think about 18 things right now that I can make his life hell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think they give me too much credit. Like you guys think I'm really smart, right?
Yeah.
Like you think I've thought about this.
Yeah.
Like I want to walk in and go, Ty, he doesn't like
right.
corn on the cob. So we're going to have corn on the cob for lunch. No, I don't, we don't think like that. I don't do this for that reason. You know what I mean? Like you said, you just, sometimes they have to get out of their element a little bit. I come in, I do this, I do that, I do this. You know what I mean? So,
but that's when you know you have a good team. I mean, people, there's always going to be a little bit of resistance, and I usually know who it's going to come from. Right. So, but then I need to know too, how to approach that. Right. And that's part of our job, is knowing our people, right, and how they tick and how they think.
Have they started changing for you? I have some right now that I'm seeing working on it. I haven't said a word, but you can see them working on it.
Yeah.
Or
and when you're learning just as
feel
much from them as they have from you, that's when you know you have an authentic culture.
Yeah. Listen, when, we're going to what's called a pod system, Ty. So you have maybe like one major sales rep, you have more inside reps. So if John needs something, there's more people to get a hold of if you can't get an answer.
Nice.
So we're going to that.
Okay.
Years ago, my dad did it in a system that when he was at his other business, and customer service wise, let's go back to my missions and values and everything we write on the wall. Right there, it says we want to be the best customer service company in the world. Well, we need to start somewhere. We probably haven't done that. People yell at us, we want to yell it back. You know what I mean? Because they just don't understand how hard this is to get done. So we went to a pod system. Hey, if Ty's going to call and he can't get a hold of Chris, there's 4 other people he can call in the office. So let's make sure they have it and they know exactly what to do, and they're going to do it. We can support a sales rep. The sales rep's not there putting stores in. We have our own department. We're doing all that. We're doing pods where they're actually a team. They're going to look at that number, which I got from you, put that scoreboard up there, let them see that stuff. You know what I mean? Every day they walk in, look at that scoreboard. You know what I mean? That's what matters right there. Right. So we're starting to do that internally for our customers, but it's also going to benefit us sales wise, right? This is now they're sticking to like, we can't do that price. That's a pretty good price. They'll sell to somebody. Hey, you might, if you can get it better, that's great. Go do that. You know what I mean? They're starting to have trust in what we do. And I just, I need them to understand it's going to work, but it's been better, Ty. A lot of them don't know and they're still hesitant, but it's been better than I thought it was going to be. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Like they believe in themselves more, especially when we started doing, like, the numbers have been, because of this, the numbers and other things, the numbers have been good and they see that. Then all of a sudden, once they, step up on the ladder, the ladder's not going to break. Then that's shit, this ladder. Next thing you know, they go walking way up the ladder. So, and that's what's happened in our office, which I'm totally blessed to have that, because I've been through some people probably like you, and they were more worried about getting off work and meeting their boyfriend at the bar. You know, and or you go up to him and say, hey, how's your son? He was with his dad this week. You know what I mean? Like, I want people that they're part of the family and they know that stuff. And then they want to be driven.
It's a lot to ask, from people. And, I'm kind of going through this thing too, like where I'm kind of in this season of my life where it's like, or season of entrepreneurship where it's like, I'm kind of done with those people that have like one foot in and one foot out.
Even customers. How about that? Even customers, even the ones that beat you up. And I didn't mean to cut you off, Todd, but that whole thing is like, it's the same concept with customers. When you talk to a customer and you say, what makes you think I sat at home thinking like how we could screw this, or the vendor couldn't get it? Do you think we didn't do, like, you think like we just aren't capable? I've been doing it for 18 years. We're pretty capable. You know what I mean? And at some point you got to cut the ties.
Yep.
You know, somebody wanted to talk to me because of one of our reps. I said, have you talked to the rep? Nope, I don't have time for you. Go talk to the rep.
Mhm.
And if you guys can't, you're adults. He's an adult.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Then come back to me. Then we could talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll talk together as a group. I don't want him in the room. Well, maybe we're not your customer then, because I fully believe in my sales rep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
they were expecting a totally different response from you. I guarantee it.
Well, listen, Ty, I got that from you. Sometimes
Yeah.
you have to stand behind somebody because you know.
Yeah. Even if they're wrong, that's when you take them behind closed doors to say, hey, that was wrong.
Or I stood up for you and let
Yes,
me tell you why I was
totally.
wrong and this won't
Yeah.
happen again.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
No
I
doubt.
stood up for you, but there was a lot of things that person has done for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A lot of things that person has done for me to get me to this point, and I
Mhm.
think I owe you one. Hey,
Yeah.
this is I owe you
Right.
one.
Right. And that's going back to, you have to be calloused enough to allow your team to make mistakes, just like they should be when let's say this pod system doesn't work.
Right.
Okay. It may or may not. Sometimes we make decisions and we run with it for a few months and it doesn't work and we got to pivot again. Right. But they have to learn to adapt. Like, think life is like playing golf. You know, every shot is just damn near an accident.
Especially when I'm golfing.
I'm just saying, but yet you keep driving, you keep chipping away at it one putt at a time.
Yeah.
And you just keep going for the hole.
Yeah.
Right.
And 18 times later.
I just bladed one out in the woods. Sometimes you can't find it. And sometimes you got to throw another ball down and take a stroke. Right. Sometimes the guy that you're golfing with will allow you to take a mulligan. Sometimes you get a do-over.
Yeah.
Right. And your team has to know, but I think that's where the trust bank comes from.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you've made enough deposits into this trust bank. Right. And if they don't trust you by now, even if they've been there only 6 months, then they probably have issues.
Right.
With themselves or something else. Right. Which you may or may not be able to help them with. But that's for us to try to figure them out. Like, maybe they have trust issues. But over time, you've made so many deposits where you can just take a withdrawal, not deplete it. But I'm saying that, like, okay, the pod system, we all tried it. Thank you guys so much. But I think we're going to go back to a semi-pod / semi the old way.
Yeah.
We're still going to keep the scoreboard up here.
They're going to give you a mulligan.
Yeah. They'll give you a mulligan.
Right. They're going to give you a mulligan.
Yep. They're going to give you a mulligan.
But what's crazy about this is I'm looking at them right now like I'm golfing
Mm-hmm.
and I'm terrible.
Yeah.
And they're standing at the court going, hey, you can do this. Keep your knees bent. Keep your head down.
Yeah.
Like, they're bought in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they believe this. You know, you have these people that can sell, these people that dot I's, cross. You know, one of the biggest things in any business, dotting I's, crossing T's, making sure the right form gets out, making sure the right communication gets done. Well, you have good people that way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I started seeing this, right? So you have these people that can do these things. Well, let's use it that way,
Mm-hmm.
right? Let's use it that way. And I think for us, it's going to take off. But yet, I fully agree with what you just said when you said that they are starting to do, like, they're bought in, like, the trust factor. They trust me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to go do this.
Yeah.
Right. And I can pull it back. Hey, guys, I messed up.
Yeah.
You know, all right. Hey, this is not going to work.
And you might have someone grumble under their breath and say, well, I told you so. But that's okay. You know what I mean? We can't not change and pivot because I'm afraid they're going to say, I told you so.
We had some people leave us, Ty, because they were concerned that they were going to have to do more.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well,
dude, and that's the thing. You're trying to level up. And when during that course of leveling up, they either level up with you or you push them out.
Yeah.
And that's okay that they go. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to really feel like, you know, that people and society's changed a little bit. Maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, you could honestly say people don't quit jobs, they quit people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Things are a little bit different today. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm not saying people still don't quit people. Okay. It'll happen. But I think the work ethic and the integrity has changed a little bit. I think if you can find enough people, and we've been very fortunate to find enough old school people, right, that has rubbed off enough on the younger generation of people where they just had a better upbringing or whatever the case might be. We've been very fortunate. That I'm not saying a shithead still doesn't slip through the cracks every now and then, but they're not here long. Not like it used to be.
Right.
Okay.
But you believe in those that came in that are being for a lack of a better term, trained by the old heads that work a certain way.
And if they're good people, the chances of them leaving is for a better opportunity.
Yeah, or more money.
Not because they're quitting.
We could say it's better opportunity, but it could be more money, whatever.
Yeah. But I don't think it's always about the money.
I don't know. I think, and also too, sometimes, Ty, you have to be able to tell those people. Just had this conversation. I had to be able to sit down with somebody and just be like, "You've been here a year and a half. This is where you moved to. When you came here, you said you wanted this, and now you're making twice that, and yet you want to question me on certain things. I think I've done my fair share. I haven't asked you to give back in full yet. I haven't asked for my cup out of the cooler yet.
Yeah.
Right. But I've given to you, so I think that's the fact that they trust you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then it was like no word. Like, you know what? He was right. How you present it.
Yeah.
How you're there. And there's some people I wouldn't care to present it to them. Like, I don't have time for you.
Yeah.
Right? But there's others, you bring them in, sit them down.
Yes.
And tell them that.
Yeah, for sure. Been there, did that.
Yeah. Well, 100 times. I mean, we've had conversation. I know how hard it is on you. Right. Yeah. And it is hard. But I think when you have that hard conversation, they become supporters of you inside that office or inside that family.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the things I found out about my top sales rep is, and I just found this out, he's been with me 5 years, is how important loyalty is to him. And what I mean by it is everybody wants loyalty. Be loyal to me as I'm a sales rep. I want you to be loyal to me as a customer. He wants them to be loyal to him if he messes up something, just he's going to be there. He's going to be there for us. If you never do anything bad against me, I'm going to be loyal to you. But it really, really, really affects him more than I thought. And when I had a conversation about it, I was like, Jay, I never really knew this. And he would bring up stuff in the past. And when we went to this pod system, it has become part of his, if you're going to be on my team, this is one of the things that you're going to have loyalty. Like, we're here, we're all together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he stayed. So, which is like, they're creating their own entity inside an entity. Yeah. And this is one of their guides that they want to have. Hey, we're loyal. Yeah. We can fight, but tomorrow we're coming back in here.
And that's what you just empowered him.
Like, he empowered me, Ty.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I felt bad because I didn't really know. I mean, I knew because he stayed, but I didn't really know how important it was to him. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he'll talk to me about customers. She wants to complain that I missed an email, but the day I drove those 17 shirts to her on a Saturday morning, you know what I mean? I was the best guy in the world, but now she wants to complain because I missed an email. Yeah. That loyalty means a ton to him, which is great for me as him as a leader and a sales rep. He's going to go out and get it. He's always, he's the guy. He is the guy. It led it right to us. He is the guy. Yeah. And that team is going to be loyal to him. It's going to be loyal to us. And I learned that from just listening to them, finding out, having conversation, people leaving. Like, we were getting into this pod system and we had people leave. Somebody's leaving because they didn't want to have to do the work. That was essentially, they didn't want to be a leader.
That's what it comes down to.
They didn't want to be a leader. And next thing you know, things step up, and for me, I got a chance to, my son Garrison, it gave me a chance to get a lot closer and bring him a lot closer into the business. And he brought a lot to us from where he was. Yeah. Cause where he came from. So he came from a family. This was like a lot of the reading and the EOS and KPIs and they measure everything. And so,
and that's a whole nother subject there too. But some people have to go through what they go through to realize either the grass isn't greener or get educated and can bring back and not necessarily take off the table, but actually bring and put something on the table. And that's kind of that. I think you both have grown through that.
When you talk about stories, I felt at that golf outing yesterday, or the one in Baltimore, I guess it's this week or whatever, you should do with that with people that are part of that community that you go support. Yeah. That would be a pretty cool show. Sit down with people and be like, where did this industry help me? How did it help me? And how am I here now? And because the support that you do for the people in your industry is huge. So it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
You know
Thank you. I love this industry.
I want to emulate that in mine. Like, these screen print t-shirts most of the time was Johnny in the garage or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like that. I want to, I want it to be more on this level.
Yeah.
Like we go support each other and
of course,
try to be better.
Yeah. No, and you've done an excellent job over there. Like you've taken your industry. Like, what would you call your industry?
I don't even. Embellishment, custom embroidery, screen printing.
You make us look good.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like because I don't want to call you a t-shirt company because you are a brand ambassador. For companies.
Great term. Brand ambassador.
Like you have helped mold who we are today with our yard signs, the ideas, our t-shirts, our hats, our towels, everything, our apparel. You're an apparel company and a brand ambassador.
I might start using that, Ty. Do I have to pay you any royalties? For
you might.
Vic, you're shaking your
I'll
head.
give that to you for free for now.
For now.
Yeah.
And then the royalty, the bills will
kick
start
in about 90 days.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to see how it goes before you
exactly.
send a percentage over brand ambassadors.
But I mean, you really truly have. And that's why I always try to plug you, we have listeners all over the country, not that you wouldn't provide
we
your
do
service
already.
to them. Yeah, right. You've shipped us shit to Orlando already. But that's what I'm saying. Like, what it's about for customer service. Doesn't matter what industry you're in.
Right.
Okay. I know for a fact that you're trying to leave it in better shape than it was when you found it. Right. You know that, like you said, Johnny in the garage doing this. You wanted to take your vision was much bigger. That's why you were so successful at what it is that you do. And you actually give a shit. You give a shit about your customers. You give a shit about your people. And it's like, you were more like I was in the beginning. It was like, let's get to work. Let's figure out how to get to work. And then let's worry about getting paid later.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you can kind of go into it, if you're going into it with it the other way, how, when, how much are we going to get paid? How, when? Because when I do an interview, sometimes we have to interview subcontractors. And if the first thing out of their mouth is how much, they're not going to be a good fit.
Yeah.
Not that I don't take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But that shouldn't be.
Right. Correct.
That shouldn't be the first question out of somebody's mouth.
Correct.
Okay. You're like I am. You're cut from the same cloth. You care about everybody and yourself last. It's not always a good thing, but it's definitely not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Okay. We take care of those that are around us, our customers, our family, those that work with us, right? We don't have employees. They're our teammates. They're the people that we've entrusted. They're our trusted servants to serve our clients. Right. Yep. And everybody in this building is a trusted servant, not to me, but to our local community, our clients, our customers, our industry as a whole, manufacturing across the board. And they know that. That's been instilled in them since day one. Watch any of these videos, any of the community outreach things that we've done. Right. And it's genuine. It's not some fake bullshit. This is how we live, eat, breathe. I am so worn out I'm tired, not from work, but from putting into taking the team down to Orlando, right? Letting them experience some of the things, what to do's, what not to do's. Right. They saw that the golf outing, right? And putting all that together, whether I physically worked these events or not, right? The mental turmoil, stress, pressure, whatever you want to call it, right? That goes into the thinking, the thought, the vision, and then being humble enough to cast it to everyone else and let them take the credit for it.
Yeah.
Right. And then not to get worn out from inspiring everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the hard part. Like here it is. I'm going to take it back. Do you know how many times I want to do that or say that and how tiring I've made myself by this mentally masturbating. Should I, shouldn't I, what's right, what's wrong? Because when you get to a certain spot, it's kind of like, who do you talk to about that? Because I don't necessarily like how they conduct their business because they have a lot of people that leave them. But on social media, it's something totally different. But when you go and pop the hood in their business, it's kind of like, what the fuck? Everyone's left.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? But to actually live this is tiring.
It's Yeah.
And somewhere along the way,
Exhausting.
a few months ago, I lost myself of like, why am I doing this? What is my job anymore?
Right.
You know, between everyone's doing what I used to do,
Yeah.
right? And then getting not necessarily complacent, but almost like insecure to a point where it's like, what weight do I hold? What is my role?
Right.
Like, don't you know who I am?
Right.
You know, kind of thing. Like, I've teed this up. Like,
Yeah.
don't forget, you know, but to keep your mouth shut and have a sounding board that you can actually someone to write this shit down before you go outside your office and start talking this crazy stuff, right? You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
that restraint in itself, that's what made me a stronger person, not by me going out there screaming,
Right.
but the restraint that I've had
Yep.
over the years of the mental abuse, not anything that anyone's ever done to me, but more so the ass kicking I give myself. That did I handle it right? Didn't I handle it? Should I step up? Shouldn't I step up? You know, but I do know this, not to beat myself up, because what I've learned over the years, and most recently I've heard this saying, is that it takes a stern hand to grab a hold of the wheel during rough tides.
Yep.
Right. So sometimes I got to grab a hold of the stern with a stern hand and be like, no, this is the direction we got to go.
What did your parents used to say when you first started driving?
Unfortunately, they didn't I didn't experience that with my parents.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was already out on my own when I first got my license.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Wow.
bad analogy, bad example.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
But I have raised
my parents would
Rocket's
ride
turning
with me and
16
they would
on
like
Friday.
put two hands on the wheel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Put
Yeah.
two hands on the wheel.
Yeah. The girl I was dating at the time actually took me for my license.
Damn. She liked you? Or
I don't think she did.
are you
Not
follow
at
her?
the time.
Did you follow her around, chase her around?
No,
Yeah.
it was weird. Yeah, that was a long time ago. But anyhow,
Yeah.
but Rocket, speaking of 16 and driving, Rocket's turning 16 on Friday.
My daughter does in January.
Yep.
Here we
And then
are getting parallel.
Today's Mackenzie's birthday. So happy birthday, Mackenzie, if
Happy
you guys
birthday,
are watching
Mackenzie.
this. And I told Rocket I got to run to Greenville tomorrow morning, but I told Rocket I'd be back in time for Sunday to take him out and play 9 holes for birthday.
Oh,
So
good for you.
I'll be back. I'm going to leave down there Saturday afternoon, get my ass back here. Saturday evening, we got a re-grand opening and a ribbon cutting at our Greenville location down there. So I'm going to miss his sweet 16. But we're going to go out to dinner tonight. We're going to do something on Sunday. Both kids, their birthdays this week. So happy birthday, guys. Love you. This is why. You're my why.
Yeah.
So
Aren't they always the why?
always?
Always.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
So
Vic, what time, where are we at here?
59 minutes and 40 seconds.
Cool. So
listen,
Chris,
Ty, I got to thank you. Thank you for having me. I love coming in and talking.
yeah, I
Appreciate
love
it.
you.
Yeah, bro, love doesn't probably do what you've done for me and my family.
Me too.
As a friendship. So
Same.
it's always cutting. And Vic, I don't care what Ty says about you. Your hair looks good today.
It does look good.
As always, Ty, it's always fun coming in and talking. And
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that you allow me to come on here.
Yeah, man. No, thank you for wanting to come on the very first time.
Hey, 21 turkey salute coming up.
21 turkey salute. I think that's on the 26th. I think Thanksgiving's on the 27th this year.
27.
It's on the 27th. So, all right. So November 27th on the corner of West Market and Penn Street. I think it's 34. I always mess this up. 34 South Penn Street. We will be shutting down the block of Penn Street, the very first block there by Penn Market. Not exactly sure. I think we'll start serving food probably right around noon ish. The city's allowing us to close it down from like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
They've been so good to you about that too.
They have.
Hey, man, you can't ask for
Yeah.
better people to help you out.
No.
You know, a
Yeah.
lot of people get fed.
Yeah.
It's just good stuff there, Ty.
Yeah. Well, we're bumping stuff up. Last year we bought 70 turkeys and 18 were donated. So we did about 88 turkeys, which served just shy of 900 people. This year we just purchased 80 turkeys in hopes that, a dozen or two more turkeys will be donated. So we're shooting for about 1,000. I told Janet to order, 1,000 pies. Last year she ordered 700 pies. So we're getting pies, oil donated.
Well, put to the T down there for 20 turkeys, Ty. I'll pay you up.
Oh,
for that.
really?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You don't have to do that, but
Well,
thank you so
I'm
much.
not
Okay.
asking you if I have
Awesome.
to do it. We're going to
Okay.
do it. So
That's amazing.
did I have to
Thank
ask him
you.
permission? I mean, geez.
No, you don't. But thank you.
Yeah. Well, listen, we do the sweatshirts and we do a lot of things for you guys. And,
Yep.
But as much as
It's
I can.
because of you, we can pull this off.
Yeah, just like diapers and all that stuff like that. I feel like stuff like this sometimes instead of, but you allow me to buy it, I think it's pretty cool. Like, hey man, just tell me the 20 turkeys or whatever, $200. Okay. You know
I
what I
can tell
mean?
you
Like,
this right now. It's
like with the diapers, I just sent them to you. That was, what's that?
$274 a pound.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Just let me know what the bill is. I'll get Tammy to get them all paid up for. Or if you want me to go pick them up, I can go pick them up and bring
they're fresh. However, whatever you want to do.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
So, and just so you know, St. Matthew Lutheran Church does a Christmas dinner, Christmas Day, same type of thing that you do, except it's inside.
Okay.
I think every year it's 1,400 to 1,500.
Where's that at?
Market Street, down right on the corner of Market and Richland.
Okay.
Not that the Stone Church, right? The bigger church right beside it. I don't know the exact, but they do one there too. So those people that come up to yours that are, if they're watching, down at Christmas, they go down and do that.
Very cool.
Do a dinner down
I don't
there.
know if John said anything to you, but we're going to need yard signs sooner than later for that.
Well, I walked in and saw them over there. We'll get that taken care of. I'm just going to put your face on it. Dartboard. Is that what it is? Dartboard? Dartboard?
Like a bullseye? Sure. Why not?
Thanks again, Ty.
Yes. Thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. And everybody, thank you for tuning in and supporting us for our causes and everything that we do. Roofers in Recovery, Monday, our golf outing. We raised, I think the final tally was like $20,500.
Wow.
Yep. In
That's
one day.
lot.
Yeah.
That's a good golf tournament.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was good. That was net.
Wow.
So that was after all expensive golf carts, green fees, everything, beverages, all that stuff. So there was
all that golf stuff that you did to put in the bag. They were pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It turned out really good. That was awesome.
Yeah. That was good stuff. I think that's the quality stuff I'm talking about that you provide us, that stuff that people will actually hang on their bag and keep it on their bag.
Yep.
Right. To remember that Regents Glen, Swing for Recovery, Roofers in Recovery stuff. So thank you for making us look good, because I know we cleaned up well because of you with the hoodies and stuff that you printed for us and stuff like that. So anyhow,
I want to ask you one question.
What's that?
Mulligans. How many did you use?
We used none. Now we did provide mulligans.
No, but I'm saying, how many did you use?
None. No. We were probably the most honest foursome. And then we did come in last place though. Second to last. We did. Humbly.
Awesome.
Yeah, but it was fun. That's like you said, that's what it was. It wasn't about us getting out there, and with everything going on, in our group and stuff like that, golf was only half of it.
Yeah, man.
Right. Everything.
It's the camaraderie. It really is.
Yeah,
it really is.
Exactly. So it was a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to it. I know everybody else is looking forward to it because they couldn't believe that it was our first annual. Like, how did you pull this? Like, dozens of people. Like, when are you doing this again next year? Our neighbors, my neighbor, I didn't know she golfed. I didn't even know my neighbor, but she participated. She's like, oh, I didn't know you lived. I knew somebody from TC Backer lived there. I'm your neighbor. I live right around the corner. I was like, awesome. She's like, we'll be here. My whole family will be here next year. So that was cool, man. So we made some good connections, and that was cool. Like, we teed up, pun intended, a quality event at a quality golf course with quality people to be able to partner with. And what's crazy, and this is God's honest truth, every single individual that attended, whether they know it or not, their lives have touched each other in one way, shape, or form, either personally or professionally.
Right.
That wherever, how far down you go down the line, whether it was through an insurance company, a real estate investor, just everybody there somehow, mostly professionally, had some influence on everybody there. And how cool is that?
Yep.
Like, everybody. So that was a good opportunity for those to either, forge new relationship or galvanize old ones. Right. So that's what we plan on doing again. Another good quality people, course, food, beverage, swag, the whole 9 yards. That way, maybe someday it'll become the charitable event of the year, that the who's who.
Maybe you'll have to have a couple golf courses.
Yeah. Right. And it's a shame that Briarwood still doesn't have East and West, because I thought that.
Well, they have 5 holes in the back.
How ideal would that be?
Well, that's 23 holes.
because we sold it out and then some.
Yeah, 23 holes. So you could get 2 foursomes on each hole. So
There
you
you
would
go.
have 10 more foursomes. So you could do there. But
Okay.
even having like 2 different golf courses, like, Honey
Yeah.
Run's not far from Briarwood.
Yeah.
And then everybody come back to a certain spot.
Right.
Listen, back in the day, you used to have the Budweiser Open and you went to it and there was you would go play golf during the day and then you would go to an event in the evening.
Yeah.
Like dressed up, put a tie on. you
Yeah,
went
that's
in.
what I have in mind.
Yeah, it was an
Yeah.
event. And you went there and you danced with your wife and
Yeah.
had a good time,
Yeah.
ate food, and
Right.
it cost a little bit more than just
Right. And that's kind of what I was thinking too. Like the golf event would be something, but like the dinner, like those dinners that are hosted, I don't know who doesn't, but it's like people are paying like 100 G's for a table. And I'm not saying we would charge 100
I
G's,
wouldn't
but,
be there, Ty.
but I'm just saying,
I
like,
might work
something like $1,000 for a table or whatever. And knowing that, you're going to get the best quality of food.
Yeah, we go to the Penmar event, and if you ever have a chance to go to the Penmar event, they do a big fundraiser down in Baltimore. They work with disability kids and stuff, and they run an event. I think it's like $10,000 for the table.
Okay.
But when you go down, the food's rocking. They have a auction, like it's top notch, and it's
I love that.
people pull it out. You know what I mean? People
Yes.
start, and there's all kinds of people there.
Mhm.
You're rubbing elbows with multi-millionaires
Yeah.
and people that just are there because
Yeah.
it helped their son.
Right.
So,
No, and it was very receptive. We started working on this probably at this point in time, no more than 10 weeks ago. Okay. So what does that say? One, about our community, right? To pull together that quick. And the other thing is that occurred, that hit me. Like, we must be doing something right if people were like, yeah, we're going to support this for them. You know what I mean? So in that short amount of time, with the quality of people, like, dude, I thought at first, like, we're going to shut down. Half of the foursomes will be people that work for TC Backer. That wasn't the case.
Yeah.
We did have people, volunteers on the side that work here. None of them got to play because we actually sold the golf course out to the point where they had to actually lease from another course 4 more golf carts.
Yeah.
To accommodate what happened.
That's a testament to you, dude.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean,
That's what hit me. Like, and again, I'm not tooting my own horn, but it's like,
well,
we must be doing
and
something.
you can be real,
Right.
Some of it, hey, we do business with him. Why wouldn't we do this for him?
Yeah,
Right. Some of it is he's a friend of mine. I'm
Yeah.
just going to go support.
totally.
And some of it is this has affected somebody in my life, so I'm going to come support. Right. So, and it
Yeah.
all goes around. I mean,
yeah,
your circle is big.
yeah.
I don't
Bigger
care.
than I thought it was, I guess.
Well, I think for all of us, it is. We
Yeah.
just don't know that. Keep your circle small,
Yeah,
but yet you're affected by the larger circle.
absolutely.
And those people there don't know how much that meant to you.
Mhm.
I don't know if they probably.
Yeah, I don't think they knew the gravity of, because I started to have a speech, but we had already been on the course for 5 hours, right?
Right.
And I've been there since 6:30 in the morning, right? So at this point in time, it's 4:30 in the afternoon, and already played. So Rocket and I played 18 holes on Saturday, 9 on Sunday, and just played another 18 holes. Dude, I was whipped.
tired.
Yeah, whipped.
That's
And
because you're old.
I am.
Did I say that? Did I
Um,
say? Did I say that
but
out
it
loud?
was good, and I had this. I never write speeches down, but I kind of rehearsed something I wanted to show my appreciation, gratitude, and where I'm at because of this whole thing, right? And I didn't get into it. Maybe some other time, maybe next year I'll do it first thing in the morning and like get them jacked up, like, let them know like the impact they're having. And what I'll probably do too is show them like where your money went and have that individual at the golf course next year. Like, hey, he's been 12 months sober because of you,
Right.
because of the money we generated,
Right.
because of you, because it costs about 15 grand to send somebody. So we got a little extra there for somebody else to throw into some, their pot, because they're a 501c nonprofit, Roofers in Recovery. They got to rehab themselves now in Denver, Colorado, where somebody from our industry, if you know somebody that's a roofer
Right.
or somehow touches the roofing industry, like Chris Markey or whatever, right? Because
Right.
you have you're involved with our
Right.
industry.
Right.
If you know anybody that's struggling, there's a rehab. We got a rehab. We got some. We already got you paid. We got you covered.
Yeah.
So
It's awesome.
Just want to.
I'm proud of you, dude.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Couldn't do it without you. So
No,
anyway,
I'm more proud you didn't take any mulligans.
no, we didn't. We did.
I'm just messing.
Yeah, we really did.
Thank you, Ty.
Thank you guys. Then like, love, subscribe, share, put in the comments if there's anything that you guys want us to discuss next week. Till then, take care of each other. Stay good. Be great.
Join us next week for another episode of Behind the Tool Belt. Thanks to our sponsors, TC Backer Construction, Lead Scout, Hook Roofing Marketing, and Roofle. And thank you for watching. Like, follow, and hit the subscribe button on our Facebook page, YouTube channel, as well as Spotify and Apple Podcasts.